is why is Umar Khalid in jail and why is Anurag Thakur a minister? Why is Umar Khalid, why doesn't he get bail? And why does Kapil Mishra roam around free? I don't think the answers are as simple as we think. It's not good enough to say one is BJP, one is anti-BJP. That the perpetrators are roaming free while the innocent are in jail. No. I think you have to understand, first of all, the nature of the regime that we live under. We live under an authoritarian state, increasingly authoritarian. And the entry point of authoritarianism for the BJP government is communalism. Authoritarianism can have different entry points in different social settings, but in India, as of now, the current form of authoritarianism, the entry point is communalism. This authoritarianism, although an elected one, has been shaped over several decades by a mother organization of its ideology, that is the RSS. It has done so through its grassroots organizations, through its grassroots campaigns for Hindu nationalism, and that Hindu nationalism is based on Islamophobia and on the belief that Islamic conquerors came and destroyed Hindu society, Hindu culture, Hindu religion, Hindu economy, whatever was good in Hinduism was destroyed by Islamic conquerors. Now, if this project of Hindu nationalism is to succeed, it needs both internal and external enemies. Because it's a constant war. You have to launch a permanent war against that enemy to realize this dream. The internal enemy are the Muslims of India. The external enemies are sometimes it is Pakistan, sometimes it is Bangladeshi Muslims, other times it's the Taliban in Afghanistan. Anybody who speaks for the rights of Muslims or is seen to be speaking for the rights of Muslims is also an enemy. So Umar Khalid is primarily in jail because despite claiming that he was not a practicing Muslim, he has announced it several times, he was seen to be speaking for the rights of India's Muslims. He was speaking for the Indian Constitution, but if you see what he was doing through ideological classes, he was seen as speaking for the rights of Indian Muslims. He was trying to uphold India's secularism, which goes against the notion of a Hindu Rashtra. And because he saw Indian secularism as a people's project, not something given in a book called the Constitution of India, and he was making it a people's project, he was more of an enemy. His cardinal sin, the primary sin, was that he attended a meeting in JNU where people said that Afzal Guru had been hanged unjustly. Now you only have to read the Supreme Court judgment. My friend Prashant will tell you, was Supreme Court upholding any law when it said that the collective conscience of society demands a death sentence? I mean, have I made the Supreme Court of India the contractor for my consciousness? Have you done so? What business do they have talking like this? So there are any number of people in this country who will raise questions about Afzal Guru's death. But Afzal Guru was a Muslim, Kashmiri, and who fixed him? The same Devinder Singh, who was caught recently, the superintendent of police, who's out on bail now, who was actually taking a terrorist along with him. So one wonders what was going on. So it seems either something is rotten with the conscience of India today or something is rotten in the judiciary, but let that be. The primary reason is this. An authoritarian state needs an enemy that identifies the enemy, and Umar Khalid is one of those enemies. The second reason why Umar Khalid is in prison is because BJP feels most threatened, the RSS feels most threatened by a new crop of secular, modern and constitution-waving young leaders emerging in India through people's movements. He's in prison for the same reason why Devangana Kalita was in jail, or Asif Iqbal Tanar, Natasha Narwal, Niran Haider, Safura Zergar, Khalid Saifi, etc., etc. They're all in prison, are being subjected to a judicial process to break their spirit because they feel threatened by this leadership. The BJP project is not threatened by politicians. It's not threatened by people who counter Jai Shri Ram by saying Jai Mata Di in Vaishno Devi. No. They know how to manipulate these institutionalized political parties, including the left. They feel threatened by non-institutionalized leadership that was emerging. And this is what frightens them. They're threatened by these educated, articulate youngsters emerging out of rights movements, asserting constitutionalism and secularism, because they challenge their own leadership crop that they're nurturing. Those khaki shortwalas who come from shakas and who wield lathis and wave pistols at people. I mean, given a choice, who are people going to choose? Some idiot waving a gun who's uneducated, someone waving a lathi, or someone who argues with them intellectually about their rights. So they want to clear the ground for their own idiots so that they are not threatened. The future generation of Hindutva leadership in quotes, is protected. The Sangh Parivar also realizes that these new leaders, they are not scared of them. That their agenda is completely different from the Hindutva agenda. They stand for religious pluralism. They take it for granted. They want a secular India. They want justice for Dalits. They want justice for marginalized people, for tribals. They want gender justice. They want ecological justice. Disha Ravi wanted ecological justice. So all kinds of new areas are coming up. They're coming up with a new agenda which is attractive to their generation. So they're not, and these people are not scared. They're least scared of these geriatric Brahmins sitting in Nagpur trying to convert this country into a Hindu Rashtra. They don't care a damn for them. And that is the big challenge. And that is why people like Umar Khalid and others are in jail. A related reason why Umar Khalid is in jail is because he represents a generation of social and political activists who are not conformists, who cannot be bought, by giving them a ministership or giving them loaves and fishes of office. They do not see any single individual as their great leader, irrespective of the length of his beard. They are their own leaders. They have their own mind. Fourthly, I think Umar Khalid is in jail because of the media, because of people like us. Since 2014, the Indian media has got completely transformed. It's become the cheerleader of an authoritarian regime and revels in it. You only have to switch on TV and see for yourself. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror as a media person that, look, what have we become? And this media runs on the agenda set by BJP's IT cell, and BJP IT cell's agenda is set by its ideological masters. And so BJP and its authoritarian government wants complete hegemony. They control the media, and the media was complicit, as you've seen yourself, how a speech was doctored by BJP IT cell, telecast by Republic and News 18, used by the police as if it was gospel truth, and used in the charge sheet, and Umar Khalid was put in jail. Lastly, Umar Khalid is in jail, I think, because after consolidating state power, this regime has also communalized all the institutions of democracy that we used to rely on. Now, can you say today that I'll go to the police and report you because you said you are forcing me to say Jai Shri Ram? The policeman will jail you instead of writing your complaint. The police has been compromised. Parts of judiciary have been compromised. Election Commission has been compromised. CBI has been compromised. Name an institution that has not been Hinduized. So you can brandish, if you're a Hindutva adherent, you can brandish a pistol at peaceful protesters and nothing happens to you. In fact, you get invited to their meetings in Karnal and saying, please address the people and tell us what you did in Delhi and what they can do in Patodi. So what we are faced with today is actually authoritarianism from above and its massive support from below. So you have people sending signals from above, and you have this huge reserve army of Hindu militants who are willing to use coercion, who are willing to use force, who are willing to use abuse against people. Now, am I exaggerating? See, in Umar Khalid's case, the state subjects him to a judicial process, excruciating process, puts him in jail. And when he was out, somebody goes and tries to assassinate him and says that this is a gift I want to give to India on 15th of August, on its Independence Day. So you're facing a very different kind of authoritarianism, both from above and also from below. Now, lastly, while I do not wish anybody to go to prison, the fact is, for political people, prison is also an education. And I say this because I recently heard Devangana Kalita and Natasha Narwal in a seminar on prisoners in South Asia. And what these two young girls said about the prison system, its what function it plays in a society, and what prisons are, what they can become, was quite amazing. I was deeply, deeply impressed. And I said, they had the time to analyze their situation. They're thinking people. You can imprison a body, you can't imprison a thinking mind. And they've come out much more mature, much more thoughtful. And I'm sure the same thing will happen to Umar Khalid. Now, people might say that Hindutva forces have captured societal discourse in India, but that's not true. You know it and I know it, that public opinion has not been completely won over. And it is thanks to activists like Umar Khalid and others of his ilk that this has not happened. It could have happened very easily. They've prevented, they've been the wall between this discourse and an alternative discourse. So I'm sure Umar Khalid will be free soon. But when he's out of prison, I hope he will continue to build the solidarity that is needed to challenge the forces that are intent on destroying India's constitution and India's secularism. And that's why I'm glad that Ms. Kaur was here and we're talking about that kind of solidarity. It will not be, that this battle will not be won by only student leaders. It will be led by these youngsters, but it cannot be won unless you join hands with tribals, Dalits, Muslims, farmers, all other oppressed and marginal sections of this society, which this regime is intent on subjecting to oppression, marginalizing them and finishing them. Thank you.